I feel like your experience has been. It's like, oh, these first ones are great. Second ones, not so much. But
Normally, second ones are better, but I mean, this
do
is
we
obviously
do we
not a
need
sequel
to
to a Turtles game.
pause there, Tony?
OBS messed up momentarily. It's back now.
Okay, just want to make
That's
sure
why
we're
I was
not
like,
wasting air.
no, we're good.
Okay, yep.
Yep. So in any case, Tony, how about you? Have you been gaming at all?
Yeah, right now, it's a lull for me just because Metroid Prime releases this Thursday or Friday, whatever, one of those two
Mm,
days.
Reviews are out.
Yep,
Interesting reviews.
interesting reviews for sure. But I'm not getting into any single player games until that comes out because I couldn't
yeah.
finish any of the ones I do have. So I've just been rotating Arc Raiders, Fortnite, and Marvel Rivals.
I
Mm.
played that too a little. Yeah.
And
What's Fortnite doing now that Simpsons is done?
yeah, Fortnite chapter I don't know, 7, I think, is out. Or no, 8? No, 7. Sorry. Because literally, what I will say is one of the things that Fortnite does is cool is they do these live events. So, like, to ring in
Right,
chapter
right.
7, they had all these characters that were featured throughout the past year in chapter 6, which include, like, Godzilla, Hatsune Miku, Superman, Huntrix from K-pop Demon
Right.
Hunters, etc., etc. The big one for chapter 7 is the Bride from Kill Bill and Marty McFly from Back to the Future. So you had this live experience where it was Hope and Jonesy trying to get out of The Simpsons, like Springfield, and about them hopping
Are those
multiverses.
Fortnite characters, like the original Fortnite characters, Hope and Josie? I don't know
Yeah,
who
yeah,
any of
yeah.
those.
Jones is like the
Okay.
generic looking blonde military
Oh,
dude.
got it.
Hope's like the
Yeah,
blue
yeah.
haired, female character
Okay.
lead. But so they go through and it's like the big bad uh, demon thing because all of chapter 6 was about demons. So you find
Mm.
out there's a big bad demon. It's not like Vecna, but whatever. Just because you're talking about Stranger Things in,
Yeah.
in the movie cast. But they did this cool sequence where it was basically like an Avengers Endgame, with the portals and all these characters coming through. So you had like Godzilla and King Kong as like the kaiju with um,
Mm.
the Megazord and giant Homer in his underwear from a Simpsons gag, I guess. Meet all these other characters. You had some of the Avengers. You had some, Superman. Huntrix saved you in a helicopter at some point, and the Bride picked you up on a motorcycle. I was like, okay, as a kid, I would be like totally into this. I could be like
Mm.
seeing, the excitement there. And it was really funny because they did that stupid 6-7 thing as they're going from chapter
Oh
6
my
to chapter
gosh.
7. I was just like, oh my god, I feel so old right now. But anyway, the new island is really cool, which is what I care about because if the map's not fun to play, it just who cares, right?
Yeah.
But there's some cool locations. There's a lot of verticality to it and like layers. There's trees and other objects. So like the worst part is when you just have a lot of flat terrain because then it's just a sniper fest and it's like
Right.
encourages camping and whatnot. And I don't really find that exciting. And they change up the gameplay too. So the big thing of this season is the reboot vans. Some of them are drivable, so you can just like throw a down teammate in the back and like start driving away, and it'll res them.
Oh, wow.
But of course, that alerts everybody around you, so they're gonna chase you down and whatnot. But yeah, it's been pretty fun. And Marvel Rivals surprisingly has been pretty fun. They're doing their anniversary event where you get a legendary Jeff skin in his business suit. It's actually
Mm.
customizable. You can
Change up some
change up
stuff.
things. I think I mentioned it last week, but I finally unlocked it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like free legendary stuff is always
They
nice.
also had
Yeah.
like a discount thing going on. I don't know if they're still active,
Nah, it was only for
like
Black Friday, but
Black
yeah.
Friday, but yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
Cool.
and it sucks because all the anniversary skins from my mains are pretty cool looking. So like, Invisible Woman has this like really cute like pastier outfit. Magic has one.
I
Venom
couldn't even
has
tell
one.
who those people were, honestly, with these skins.
The one that was confusing to me was like the pink one, which apparently is Psylocke, and I was like, sure, whatever. But
Okay.
yeah, Marvel Morales, at least casually, it's still fun, and Rogue should be in 2 weeks, so that'll be cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh yeah, for me, I have not been playing too much video games because I've been gearing up for a Star Wars event that's coming up soon. So just been practicing a lot of Star Wars. So no gaming other than that, really. All right, so let's get into some of the news then, because there is some news, good and unfortunately bad.
More bad than good
So,
this week.
yeah, yeah. So I don't know if we want to start with the bad,
Start with
but
bad
let's
news.
just
Start with the bad
get
news.
it out of the way. We'll start with Eidos-Montreal. Let's go. More staff, more layoffs planned. So it's not even like, hey, we're gonna let go and then that's it. Don't worry, we got your back afterwards. Nope, no, it's gonna be we're gonna let some people go and then we're gonna let more you go. Unfortunately, that studio does not look like it's long for this world.
Yeah, it's a real shame. They've had a lot of rough years, unfortunately, despite releasing a bunch of good games. So feel
Hmm.
for them. It's a tough market, tough industry. Just all around outlook not good, right, for a lot of
No,
people.
definitely. No, and they've done some good stuff, like you said.
I
Tomb
think
Raider, right? That's
I don't know
or
if it was
they.
Montreal. I think it was
Oh,
Hitman
no,
for
that's Hitman. Mm. Let's see.
and two. Not is
Oh,
it
they've
two?
done like
Not Too Human. What's the other one?
they did the Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy is
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy. That was
and
it.
and they did supporting development on Tomb Raider games. It looks like.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. And then we also had some interesting news with Yacht Club Games. I didn't see anything to do with this, Tony. What did you hear about this?
So it was
Because
a
I heard you mentioned Shovel Knight in the before the movie cast, I think.
Yeah, so Yacht Club Games is an indie developer. They spun off of the developer WayForward a little over a decade ago, and one of the first Kickstarter games I've ever backed. It was
Mm.
between that or Money Number Nine, and I always
Oh,
joke that this
one was
one, 2 out of 3 were good because then Bloodstained was good too. But this one was awesome because it was a retro NES looking type platforming action game with a cute mascot character, pseudo Mega Man esque, where you had a bunch of boss
mhm.
characters that were all, fill in the blank knight, like Drill Knight, Plague Knight, King Knight, etc., etc. And that was one of the most successful indie
But not
games.
Hollow Knight.
Not Hollow Knight, right? People get that mixed up. It's really funny. Um, but
Hmm.
that was one of my favorite games. The year it released, I was super looking forward to it. I remember visiting their booth at PAX East over the years, where they were literally just like this, like 2-person
Yeah.
deep little
Right.
thing, and it just had one demo station. I was like, bro, I'm a backer. I believe in this game. So happy I got to play the demo. Yada yada yada. And for the time, it was one of those successful indie games. I think they sold like 4 million copies of Shovel Knight when all is said and done, which is for a debut, it's in the upper echelons. But unfortunately, after that success, they've kind of made bad decisions. I want to say, and I'm not saying like intentionally bad decisions, but it's one of those things where you have to make an educated decision, right, based on what information you have at the time. And unfortunately, like life, just doesn't turn out that way all the time. So initially, their Kickstarter, they promised extra playable characters as some of the enemy knights, and instead of just doing that at like swapping the main character, you're still going through the same levels and everything. They're like, what if every knight played completely differently, had unique mechanics? So like Plague Knight, you could mix different powers to make different potions that had different abilities. Um, what was it? Spectre Knight was like Castlevania esque, and he could like grind on rails and stuff. It was crazy. And then King Knight was just his own thing, included like a in-game card game, kind of like Triple Triad or whatever.
Hmm.
So their scope got way out of hand. We always talk about that, Corey, with the scope creep, where
Uh-huh.
all these games they released individually for free to people who bought the original Shovel Knight game as well as the backers. And it's one of those things where, like, yeah, maybe you shouldn't have done that, right? Where it's like, you're doing good by your backers, but are you making the most money you can? Because
Or
you're
you're
a
not making
company,
any from
right?
those people, right? Those are the people that backed you in the beginning, and now all those people are just getting your game for free, and those are the ones that were going to go out and buy it.
Right, exactly. And that's where I feel the problem started. But then the other thing is, I think they moved to a California office in Los Angeles, which is one of the most expensive cities in the
Yeah.
country, if not the world, to live in. Um, so why would you do that, right? When you're a small indie studio, and then during COVID, like they moved in right when COVID was starting, which again, they who could foresee that? But like you just spent money to move to this big office building in California, Los Angeles, and now COVID hits, and you got to pivot again to work from home. It's like why didn't you just do that to begin with? But hindsight's 2020 there. And then lastly, during COVID, they had two projects in the works. Where one was a 3D Untitled game rumored to be a 3D Shovel Knight, and they had this other game called Mina the Hollower, which is like a Game Boy Color Zelda-like, like top-down 2D Zelda-like. And so they were like, oh, the Zelda game, Mina the Hollower, probably a quicker turnaround time, so we'll do that next.
Not Hollow Knight also.
Not Hollow Knight also, correct. It is funny.
Gotta lean into it at this point. Might as well.
Exactly. And despite that, they put as director the guy who pitched the concept to them, because like their organizational structure was, I guess, mostly flat, as in nobody was above anybody else. But this one guy who was 25 pitched this Mina game, and everybody liked it. So they're like, yeah, let's go with that. And actually, hey, why don't you be producer of this game or director, one of the two? And it's like, bro, that's a big big title shift. Who had never done anything like that before. So in Schreier's article, he highlights how that was probably an unwise decision because he was slow to make decisions, et cetera, and the project was kind of out of control. Again, scope creep. Just supposed to be this quick little game they could have done in like 2-3 years tops, and now it's like 6 years later. It was supposed to come out at the end of October. They delayed it indefinitely. They're like, hoping early 2026, but we'll let you know, guys. And it's like, man, bad decisions. So, yeah, and they were really forthcoming with the information in Jason Schreier's article because it was interview style, and they basically said, yeah, if this game doesn't do well, we might be in trouble. And it's like, that's so disheartening to hear because, again, they had one of the most successful indie titles. At like 4 million copies with Shovel Knight, and just to see them be like, oh, if Mina doesn't do well, they're in trouble. Like, damn. But just shows one game cannot last you that long.
Yeah, well, not unless you're Fortnite.
Well, I mean, yeah, because those are games as a service, right?
Right.
But, and this is why I highlight games.
And that's the other thing is they're not like this is not a game as a service. And you're talking about Shovel Knight. How long has Shovel Knight been since it came out? It's been
years, like 2018, I think was the last DLC or something. So
I was gonna say like been like 10 years almost, right? Since
it came out. Yeah, for sure.
That's I mean, although what's it called? What's the farming game?
Stardew Valley. That is the one game that probably
he has sustained.
But they have updated, and they just recently updated too with like a collab with what was it? Fucking Among Us or something.
They did do something, right? Yeah, I remember something.
It's crazy, but they're still doing updates to that game, so I would say that's a pseudo games as a service. But yeah. And what it reminded me of was the discussion around Cyberpunk back in the day when it first launched with CD Projekt Red, and we talked about success because even though like the first weekend or whatever it sold X many million copies, it was still unsuccessful in the eyes of their leadership / shareholders because it's like they needed way more than that to recoup the costs of that that 10-year development, right? I think they worked on that game for 10 years.
Yeah,
I remember Mike
backlash,
even on this podcast, like, oh, if you ever see Cyberpunk, right? Because it was like one of the things they always talked about, and who knows? But these studios that focus on these single player games, they need a hit to sell well and have a good tail length, so that they can survive until their next release.
Which shouldn't be 10 years later.
No, especially not for an indie game. Like even Silksong came out, guys. Like even Silksong came out.
Speaking of Hollow Knight.
Yeah, speaking of Hollow Knight. So, it's a shame. It's a shame. I hope they can turn around. I'm buying this Mina game day one, even though, I don't know, it doesn't really appeal to me as much as Shovel Knight does, but got to support them. They got me for one game. If they don't deliver after this, then sorry.
Well, on the upside of things, hopefully, they can make their money back with that, and it's a huge success. But, let's move into some a little bit more upbeat news because Splinter Cell remake is happening.
I feel we've heard
Is it
this
in-
so many times, Mike. Right?
Well,
We've heard this so many
We've
times.
heard about this, but
yeah, and
no one
now
believed it.
the remake director David Greville announces he's returned to Ubisoft to finish making the game. So I think we heard about it, and it was gone because then he was gone, and now he's back. He was doing some
Yeah.
work on Battlefield 6, but now he's back at Ubisoft to.
It's like a couple of those guys on Mass Effect where it's like, oh, they left, then they came back to finish Mass Effect, and
Yeah.
I'll believe it
Do
when
you
the
have
game is out.
any-
I'll believe it.
Well, I was gonna say, like, Mike, do you have any thoughts on like what this could be, or are you excited about it at all? Because I'm excited for a new Splinter Cell game. I think it could be really cool.
I'd be interested in it. I've been talking lately how like there's been a little bit of a lack of those, spy type games. I mean, that's why I did MGS Delta. It was fun to go back to, even though I just played that game like a few years prior. But I never really played Splinter Cell though. That was never one of them. So this would be a good entry point for me if this was good. But it's Ubisoft now, and what can we expect from them? I have very low expectations of modern Ubisoft, so I don't know.
That's fair.
I mean, if this
because you
happens, it happens. It'd be good, but is this going to come out and be like a $70 game with like microtransactions to do anything to, and it's not going to be actually stealthy, like pay $20 for like that night vision goggle or some
Well, I
shit.
wouldn't even be worried about that as much as I would be worried about you being a beta tester for 2 years before it actually gets finished, just like Outlaws or something to that. But then again, like, did you like Assassin's Creed, right, Tony? The new,
Assassin's Creed was great.
So they know, like, they've made these games before, so
Yeah.
hopefully,
Someone
I'll
did.
believe it when I see it.
yeah. Exactly.
Speaking of believing
Just
when you
like
see it,
I was gonna say, speaking of, there was a bet regarding Beyond Good and Evil 2, and was it Metro or
Metroid Prime
it was
4.
Metroid Prime 4? Yeah, we
Yeah.
talked about before.
I
Yeah,
thought it was so
so
funny this popped up
Ubisoft-
in the news. Like it's like this is
I
Metroid
know.
Prime release week, and this is in the news. It's been prophesized. It's been foretold.
Exactly, and it's so sad that Jim's not here
Yeah,
to
I
talk
know.
about it because this has been, like, I feel like decades in the making as well. Because if you guys haven't listened to us that whole time, but Tony and Jim made a bet back in the day that one of Metroid Prime or Beyond Good and Evil 2 would come out first. They both haven't come out yet officially, but we definitely are getting Metroid Prime in a little bit. However,
This week-
Do we
week,
know
2
what
days.
year this bet was made? Do we know what year you guys made this bet?
I'm pretty sure it was like either 2016 or 2017. Whenever that Metroid Prime trailer came out.
2017.
Yeah, it was
No,
one of
wait,
the.
wait.
It was the
Beyond
Nintendo
Good
Direct where
and
they
Evil
released
2
it.
was originally announced in 2008, before resurfacing at Ubisoft's E3 2017 conference.
Yeah, so that was it. 2017.
That's
Had to
the
be
one.
Probably that one. All right,
So-
so almost 9 years.
So
8 and a half.
they're apparently it's still in the works because they are hiring for
Yeah.
development on
Just
this game.
to give some more color and context to this bet. Basically, it was a long story. It was like, oh, Metroid Prime 4, yeah, and it was like, basically just a fancy title screen and some music. It was like the minimest, most bare minimum thing that you could do to reveal a new game, right? Like that Dragon Age whatever trailer from years ago on the Game Awards, where it was like that was fucking nothing, right?
Scott, or what we've seen of the next Elder Scrolls so
Right,
far.
exactly. So up until then, and then Beyond Good and Evil 2, basically the same thing. We saw some like test renders or a cutscene, I think, of some of the characters running around the city or whatever. So Jim and I have been going back and forth on this bet because then something happened with Beyond Good and Evil 2 where it was like getting delayed or had rumors of troubled development. And then Metroid Prime 4 had to get restarted. Like there was in the Nintendo Direct, they're like, hey guys, we're sorry you're going to have to wait on Metroid Prime 4. We had to restart development, which is like unheard of as a company announcing that. Usually, like, it's bad when companies announce that. Like the only one I can think of before that was the Final Fantasy VII Remake project. Because originally that was supposed to be like this other studio. I forget their name. I think it was under Bandai Namco at some point. But they were supposed to do the FF7 Remake. I think it was CyberConnect. That was it. And Square Enix is like, actually, we're taking that back. We're going to do it in-house. And it's like, Great, now we have to wait even longer for the fucking remake. So at that point, I was like, oh no, I'm gonna lose this bet now. I'm gonna lose this
Yeah,
bet.
because wasn't Prime 4 announced like when Switch was announced?
Yeah, yeah,
Around that
basically,
time.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, but yeah, and so both games are officially out. But by the time you listen to this, potentially Metroid Prime
Prime
4
Four
will
will be
be
out on shelves.
playable
Yeah.
by
People
the
have been
mass.
reviewing it. It's people have leaked
Yeah.
copies. People have pictures of it in hand. So it is out. It will be out in 2 days.
Yes.
There's no way I'm losing this bet. And I forget if this is a game bet. This might have been a game bet.
Could have been.
Probably.
Yeah,
It's
because
old
what we
enough.
used to do, guys, we used to bet on different things, and the loser would either have to play a bad game or watch a bad movie. And getting the bad game was always so much worse. I played through Colonial Marines all the way through to completion because I lost the bet.
Oh god, what was that bet? I forget. I know it was me and you. I just forget what you
Mhm.
lost.
Yeah,
That'd be
I
fun
don't know.
to
It's
go back
somewhere
and
in our
archive. Yeah.
annals of, of
But yeah,
history.
oh man, I gotta start thinking. Maybe I'll make Jim play Silk Song. Not a bad game,
That's
but
not a bad. That's not a bad game. It's a punishing game.
it is a
He might
punishing
hate
game,
himself.
right? It is absolutely a
Yeah,
punishing game.
it's made with hatred.
Yeah. So there you go. It could be the thing. I mean, he is an Elden Lord, so
Yeah, yeah.
you never know.
I need to
I
make
don't
him
think
a
that
Silk
translates
Lord.
too well to that.
Fair, fair. All right. So again, after all that, Beyond Good and Evil 2 may still be a thing that is coming, but it's another one of those. We'll believe it when
We
we
see it.
see it. Okay, and finally, speaking of Silksong and Hollow Knight, and Team Cherry, the co-founders of Team Cherry were talking, and they're very busy, and so they're like, "Do we even have time to go to the Game Awards? Because we feel like Expedition 33 is so good, and how could they not win a bunch of awards? Why should we stop what we're doing? Because again, they're busy people to go to this award show when we're not going to win. Essentially, is what they're saying. Do you guys think they have a chance at all, Mike? Do you think that Silksong has a
I
chance
would.
and these guys should be there?
Well, I don't know what they're nominated for other than Game of the Year. But
They're
as
nominated
far
for
as the,
5 Game Awards. They're
I mean,
nominated
they're
for
gonna get.
Game of the Year, Best Art Direction, Best Score, Best Music, Best Independent Game, and Best Action Adventure Game.
I think it's gonna get at least
Claire
one or two
Obscure
of
is also
those.
nominated in all but one of these categories, which is Action Adventure.
Yeah, I think it's gonna get at least one or two of those. And honestly, if there is a game that could beat um, Expedition 33, I think it's that one. I don't think it will.
No.
I agree with the reasoning too, is because most people like the time that they have when they play Expedition 33, and I
Yeah,
spent
so
15 hours in Silk Song and was mostly upset with it while playing it.
Is that the
yeah,
same
one
thing
of
with
them
Arc Raiders right now,
said
though?
No, no, not really.
No?
one of
Were you just saying you
No,
rage quit?
not you. Sometimes you have to because you
yeah, take
just
a
get
break.
killed, and you're like, well, that was all a waste of time, and some guy waited for me to leave the staff room in this building, and I was in there for super long, and they had to be camping out there for 10 fucking minutes in solos just to murder me to get whatever. Anyway, yes, sometimes things go bad in that game, and you need a break.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Churro says, "Jim's, it's time to be an Elden bug, Jim." So we'll have to send that message along and let him know Jim's got to start Silk Song at some point. But yeah. So one of the quotes from Team Cherry guys was, "This year, I think we're safe. I think Expedition 33 is exceptional and broadly palatable, whereas we're on that knife's edge where it appeals to some and infuriates others." So just like we were
No,
saying,
exactly. And
uh,
that's
yeah,
that's what it is
uh,
because it's
yeah.
different, different types of games. Where Expedition 33 is meant to be enjoyed primarily as a story game, it just happens to be, cased in a JRPG package, which is what appealed to me. Last year when we saw it at I think the Xbox show. But Silk Song is a punishing game. It is a difficult game. It is 100% about adversity and just overcoming difficulty, and that's not for everybody. It's in fact kind of niche, despite it being one of the best-selling games of the year and crashing basically all the different web stores when it released.
Mhm.
But yeah, and that's fine. Kind of like I was saying the past week or two, whatever it was, where the industry kind of just picks a new studio, a new game, new IP, and props it up because, you know, Silksong devs, they don't need it, right? Team Cherry, Silksong has sold like I think 20 or 30 million copies worldwide. Or I'm sorry,
And they don't.
Hollow Knight has sold that much. Silksong is on its way to that, but
And they don't play nice with the rest of the industry anyway. They, with their whole shadow drop almost
well, it's
that
funny
everyone
because
got
in this
upset about.
interview, the interview where this excerpt comes from, they even talked
Which
about.
is
They're
on
like,
VGC, just as a
yeah, Video Game Chronicles. They even talked about it. They're like, there really was no better way to do it. It was we were working up until we're like, okay, this is it, and really, like, what else are we supposed to do? Like, just we're sorry if you got caught up in the mix. It wasn't intentional. It was just we had to do what we
yeah, not gonna sit on the game. Like it's done. Let's get it out there.
right. They
So,
wanted to get it out there because they already said they're working on current stuff, even though Silk Song is out. In that interview, I think they even said they're probably going to be doing DLC for
yeah,
Silk
and
Song.
that's what's keeping them busy. Like they're currently working on it right now. So they confirmed that, as well as their response to the reception to the game. It's good, pretty different release than Hollow Knight, obviously, because so many people were playing it all at once. The sheer volume of it can be a little overwhelming, not even in a bad way, but there's so much coming through at once, whereas Hollow Knight was a slow
Slow burn,
burn.
yeah.
You know,
And
so
that
yeah, it's like a gradual thing with Hollow Knight, where this is just like bam in your face all at once. And now, like,
yeah,
how do
and
you manage that?
right, exactly. And I'll just parallel that with Dark Souls, where like Dark Souls with each iteration was becoming slowly more popular. Uh, Bloodborne, obviously, Sekiro, and then it coalesced with Elden Ring, and that was one of the biggest new IP launches of the PS4 generation, right? And with the devs, in regards to what you said, Churro, sure, most devs I think would consider it an honor. I'm sure they do too, but from my read on Team Cherry is like they don't really care about the limelight. They just want to release their game, have people be happy with it, and just move on to their next project. I don't think they want the razzle
They're not
dazzle. They don't want the award. They don't want the prestige. They don't want that kind of, you know.
like I was only half joking. I do think they really just don't care about the greater industry. They're just looking at what they're doing, and
Yeah,
that's fine. It's worked for them so far,
yeah,
so
Yeah.
why not?
And they made the game that they wanted to make, and it took them the time that they wanted to. And fortunately, they had the money to do it, and were able to release the game. It's just as good, if not better, than the first one. So,
yep,
and sold it, not like we talked about earlier, unfortunately. So,
yeah.
Once
but yeah,
again,
it's going to be
it's not
interesting.
Hollow
I do
Knight.
think Claire Obscur is going to take a lot of the awards that it's been nominated for, which is a record 12 for a single game.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think
we reported last week on the Joystick Awards, which again isn't going to be 1-to-1 with the Game Awards results, but if even those same outlets from UK/Europe, whatever it is, vote the same way, Expedition is going to have just a giant leg up over everybody else. And that's fine, right?
Yep.
It's probably in my top two, right? I'm still waffling between
Mhm.
some decisions,
Different
but
one.
I want to be unhappy. Obviously, if they won, it's just the only thing I don't want is the whole narrative like, oh, it's only made by 33 people. It's like, no, like it wasn't made by fucking 33 people. Like, yes, the core team is 33 people. One of them is a dog. Yes, we get it. But you don't need to lie, Jeff Keighley. You don't need to lie.
Yeah. I am curious though. They did tease. They are teasing some stuff. We do have the Game Awards coming up
When
in a
isn't
couple
Jeff
weeks.
Keighley teasing something, right?
I
Like,
mean,
when the fuck isn't he teasing
I
something?
like the teases though. You gotta, to get
Sure,
people
Kojima
excited for
likes those
something.
teases too. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Of course. Oh, did you
Oh
see
yeah, the
he's gonna voice
Zootopia.
the
Yeah,
character?
the Zootopia. Yeah.
Oh man, the Japanese version, right, or
Yep.
something like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, guys, that's gonna do it for our game cast. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Do check us out live. We are live on Tuesdays, usually starting at 8 o'clock. We do have these up on YouTube the day or two after that we do them live. We do the game cast usually released on YouTube on Thursdays, movie cast on Monday or Wednesdays. And so check us out there. Give us a like and subscribe. We appreciate that. And with that, we are out.